Chapter 1. Introduction. Who saw the coming of the global financial crisis of 2007 to 2008? On November 4, 2008, at the dedication of a new building, Queen Elizabeth of Great Britain visited the London School of Economics, LSE. While there, she was given a briefing by academics at the LSE on the origins and effects of the global financial crisis and its resulting turmoil in international financial markets. The Queen is reported to have asked why did nobody notice it developing. The director of research at LSE told her at every stage someone was relying on somebody else and everyone thought they were doing the right thing. How is it possible that the many intelligent investors, bankers, brokers, fund managers and other financial market participants thought they were doing the right thing, when it is clear from hindsight that financial market activity was creating a situation that ultimately caused global financial markets to collapse and result in the worst global economic performance since the Great Depression? Why did not any of the many Nobel Prize laureates in economics warn governments and the public of this forthcoming global economic storm? The answer lies in the fact that, at least for more than 4 decades, the mainstream economic theory that has dominated academic teaching, Nobel laureate research, mainstream professional economic journals and the thoughts of financial market professionals and journalists is not applicable to the economic system in which we live. Nevertheless, this dominant mainstream theory's teachings is the foundation of the economic reasoning of economic students who then became bankers, entrepreneurs, politicians, government regulators, central bankers, etc. This mainstream theory, however, is a fairy tale fable that has no descriptive relationship with the operations of our market-oriented, money-using capitalist economy. Consequently, what was seen as a way of doing good in this fairy tale economy created destructive economic forces in the world in which we live. There are a few economists, however, that have a better understanding of how the modern market economy works. They did publicly warn that financial markets were creating an unstable situation that, sooner or later, was going to cause a terrible financial markets problem. These economists who saw the economic financial crisis coming call themselves post-Keynesians, since they used and further developed the general theory that, in 1936, the English economist John Maynard Keynes had originated to explain why the financial crisis recognized by the New York stock market collapse in 1929 had created the Great Depression that encompassed the global economic system for years. As early as 2002, in my post-Keynesian book Financial Markets, Money and the Real World, I noted that in our modern market economies, the development of new, organized markets for financial assets was creating a potential economic problem. I noted that the existence of organized financial markets is a potential double-edged sword. The good edge of the sword is that these markets can help savers who currently do not want to spend all their earned income funds to buy producible things to transfer their saving out of current income to others, including investors who want to purchase new capital, plant and equipment that costs more than the current income these others have earned. In return for transferring their saving money funds to investors, savers receive financial assets such as stocks, bonds, shares of mutual funds, etc. These financial assets provide a place for savers to store their savings while hopefully earn income from their portfolio of financial assets. These financial assets are considered to be liquid as long as the savers believe that these financial assets can be readily resold in the organized financial market for cash when, any time in the future, the savers wish to make a fast exit from holding these financial assets and return their savings to a cash reserve form which they can then readily spend on anything if they so desire. This good edge facilitates financing more capital goods investment, including very large investment projects often too large to be funded by any single individual or small group of partners. In so doing, the resulting investment projects typically increases productivity and in so doing reduce the costs of producing new goods and services for households to purchase. Thus, the lower costs of buying goods make households better off. The bad edge of these organized financial markets is that, in circumstances when many holders of these liquid financial assets suddenly have increasing fears about what may happen in the uncertain economic future, then the liquidity of financial assets can evaporate as many liquid asset holders rush to sell in the market while potential buyers disappear from these financial markets. The result is the market price of these liquid assets can fall even to zero and thereby result in severe economic liquidity and insolvency problems for the asset holders that can engulf the global financial community. An illiquid financial asset is a debt or equity certificate for which no market exists where holders of these assets can resell them quickly at a reasonable price. For example, the borrower of a bank loan, such as a mortgage loan, may sign a debt certificate, but there is typically no market where this debt certificate can be readily resold for cash. Consequently, this bank loan debt certificate is an illiquid financial asset and the holder awaits payments by the borrower to recover the loan plus interest. When government regulators of financial markets permitted financial institutions to bundle together many illiquid mortgage debts to create mortgage-backed derivative securities, which encompassed subprime mortgages too in the mix, to profitably sell to savers, the seeds of financial catastrophe were being sowed. 3 savers were told that these securitized derivatives could be easily resold in organized derivative financial markets, thus convincing buyers that these mortgage-backed derivative securities are liquid even though the mortgages underlying these derivatives were illiquid. This securitization process allowed many risky illiquid subprime mortgages to be bundled together with more illiquid conventional mortgages. This securitized mortgage-backed derivative bundling appeared to increase the potential earnings of a portfolio while reducing the risk of an overall bad defaulted portfolio holding by savers since there would still be many in good standing mortgages in the derivative bundle. Accordingly, these derivative securities were considered to be doing a social good in that more subprime mortgage loans could be made to allow many people to buy homes that they otherwise could not afford. Simultaneously, these derivative assets promised saver holders a larger rate of return than they could obtain by putting their savings elsewhere, for example, into a money market account or even buying US government bonds, another apparent good. Since the investment bank packager of these securitized derivatives typically advertised that these financial assets were as good as cash, that is, were readily liquidated for money in the market, the purchasers of these derivatives did not fear any significant loss if, and when, they decided to make a fast exit and sold their holdings of these derivatives for cash. Moreover, rating agencies that profess to provide an objective report to the general public of the creditworthiness of such securitized financial assets gave these mortgage-backed derivatives an AAA rating that further encouraged savers to believe that these derivatives were a safe liquid investment for their funds. No wonder, as the LSE director told the Queen, everyone thought they were doing the right thing for themselves and their economic community. But in 2007 these derivative and other new securitized markets appeared to collapse as many holders of these various derivative securities became bearish and suddenly wanted to sell to make a fast exit from the markets to obtain cash, while no one apparently wanted to buy these derivatives offered for sale. The result was a liquidity crisis as these derivatives were now recognized as toxic assets that lost all market value in the absence of sufficient buyers, bulls, to offset the sellers, bears. Accounting rules require that securities that are liquid and are held in one's balance sheet must be valued at their current market price on the asset side of the balance sheet. Since these toxic assets were held not only by individuals but also held across the global financial community by bankers, pension funds, other institutional funds, the asset side of the balance sheets of these institutions and individuals collapsed, thereby severely damaging or destroying the accounting value of the net worth of the holders of these assets. The resulting financial crisis did not spare any important national economy. In my 2002 book Financial Markets, Money and the Real World, I noted that a financial crisis was likely to occur in the near future. I wrote that in the USA, recent trends in the growth of mutual funds and other non-bank financial intermediaries have encouraged saver households to reallocate their saving portfolio from holding government-insured bank deposits towards holding more liabilities issued by non-bank financial intermediaries. This has permitted a significant expansion of debt obligations on the part of debtor households and enterprises. This suggests that a sudden switch by many portfolio holding savers to a fast exit strategy at a future date could cause a horrific liquidity problem. 4. The global financial crisis of 2007 to 2008 indicates how prophetic this 2002 post-Keynesian message proved to be. As we will discuss in the following chapters, the post-Keynesian analytical system can suggest ways to dull the bad edge of liquid financial markets sought via 1. legislating proper regulatory rules on financial markets, and 2. Have central banks ready to alleviate a financial liquidity crisis if it still occurs. Accordingly, a major purpose of this book is to explain, not only to Queen Elizabeth but to all, why what is the mainstream's fairy tale classical economic theory that is still being espoused by the talking head experts and elites on TV and in governments, central banks and even international institutions such as the International Monetary Fund. In contrast, while still often ignored, the post-Keynesian approach developed in the following chapters is available to provide a realistic analysis of the operation of the money-using capitalist economy in which we live. Once the public understands the operation of a 21st century money-using, market-oriented world economy as explained by the Keynes post-Keynesian analysis, then the public can choose government officials who will understand why the policies necessary to deal with economic problems when they occur are significantly different than those often currently espoused by elite experts. Notes: P. Davidson, Financial Markets, Money and the Real World, Elgar, Cheltenham, 2002, Chapter 6. A subprime mortgage is a loan made to individuals to help purchase a home. These individuals typically are poor credit risks, often are unable to prove income earnings, and possess few, if any, other assets that can be pledged as collateral. The subprime loan typically involves high origination fees, prepayment penalties, balloon maturities and other costs that make it difficult to refinance the loan if interest rates decline. Often the loan comes with an artificially low introductory rate that ratchets upward substantially, thereby increasing monthly payments by as much as 50%. The good was these subprime loans increased opportunities for home ownership, adding 9 million US households to be homeowners in the decade from 1996 to 2006. Often this permitted the poor to gain the American dream of home ownership. The bad is when monthly payments rose on these type of loans, the default rate becomes very large. At this point we shall illustrate the problem with the securitization of mortgage-backed derivative securities, but at the same time, other exotic securities such as credit default swaps, etc. were being invested and sold to the public which had similar faults. Opposite, page 117.